So, welcome back to my channel. I'm a little embarrassed that I haven't really gotten into my summer TBR at all, but that's life. And as a reader who reads actual books and occasionally an audiobook, reading books takes time. And I think that in this day and age, it's really easy to get caught up in being like, I have to read as many books as possible because there's so many books out there that we have to read and we have such short lives. What am I reading now, really, is the question.
That is the question.
I'm about 35 pages into Nonviolent Communication. This is going to be a book that I read a little bit every day for like an hour. I really like to take my time with nonfiction books, especially things that are about changing the way I speak, because it's just going to take me a long time to like fully absorb the information, and I'll probably read it more than once. So that's not really a part of this challenge exactly, but I am reading it. I want to read Call Me By Your Name before the summer ends. This is definitely a very summer book. And then the other thing I want to read before the summer ends is Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. This is one of my favorite books of all time, other than The Snow Child by Ellen Ivy. So I definitely have to read this. So I'm kind of like stuck between, do I want to start reading this right now because I've already read it once. I know I could probably get through it pretty quickly, and I know that I love this book. So I'm like, is this going to get me out of my reading rut, or should I try to pick up another book first? So what I think my plan of attack is I think I'm going to read Call Me By Your Name first and maybe let myself get 30 pages into it. And if I'm really enjoying it, I'll just keep going. And if it's starting out slow, I might just switch over to Tom Lake just to keep the momentum. So yeah, I think it's good to have a plan of attack. I might get to Snow Crash in this video, but since Snow Crash made me crash, Simon, I'm sorry, I might not start reading it. I might read it for another video. So, okay, I'm gonna get to reading now, guys. So I'm on page 4 of Call Me By Your Name, and it's already catching me. I love the writing style. Let me see. This is a really cool couple of paragraphs. Okay, watching him step out of the cab. Billowy blue shirt, wide open collar, sunglasses, straw hat, skin everywhere. Suddenly, he's shaking my hand, handing me his backpack, removing his suitcase from the trunk of the cab, asking if my father is home. It might have started right there and then, eager to test the hot gravel path that led to our house, every stride already asking, which way to the beach? This summer's house guest, another bore. Then, almost without thinking, and with his back already turned to the car, he waves the back of his free hand and utters a careless later to another passenger in the car, who has probably split the fare from the station. His one word send off, brisk, bold, and blunted. Take your pick. He couldn't be bothered which. You watch, I thought. This is how he'll say goodbye to us when the time comes, with a gruff slapdash later. Meanwhile, we'd have to put up with him for 6 long weeks. I was thoroughly intimidated, the unapproachable sort. I could grow to like him, though, from rounded chin to rounded heel. Then, within days, I would learn to hate him. This, the very person whose photo on the application form months earlier had leapt out with promises of instant affinities. Yeah, I mean, that is great writing. I love the part where he says all skin or something. Sunglasses, straw hat, skin everywhere. Love that image because I know exactly what he means. It's like when you think someone is really attractive and you're looking at them and there is any bare skin, like, or especially a lot of it, you're just kind of like eating it up. Your eyes are just like, whoa, 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 this is so cool. And it does really feel like there's skin everywhere and you just want to touch it. You're like,
Damn,
damn,
son,
son,
where'd
where'd
you
you
find
find that?
this?
So I really like that. I think that's great. It's really good at conveying that feeling of kind of like looking at somebody like you're hungry. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep reading this. Good morning. So, the question is, how much did I read yesterday? Well, I read about 32 pages of Call Me By Your Name, and it's very, 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 very good. I like it so far. It's written in a style that I have never experienced reading before. It's kind of like this like dreamy montage almost so far of this guy's summer that's like kind of vague and we don't really know what the timeline is, and it feels very like ethereal. It's very beautifully written. I can't stop rubbing my eye, and I'm sorry. So the reason I did not read very much yesterday is because I started this video like an hour and a half before I had to go to my friend's grandmother's house for dinner. So we did that and we watched a movie. We watched Fantastic Four. See, the thing is lately I've just been getting distracted, and it makes it hard to read when you're having a really good time with somebody. So that's kind of good, but also it's making things difficult on this end a little bit. But sometimes you just gotta do what you will. But make that a quote. Sometimes you just gotta do what you will. Wisteria 2025. Oh God. Okay, well, I'm gonna continue reading Call Me By Your Name. Okay, it got cold, so I'm wearing my robe again. It's robe season, guys. Anyway, on page 59 of Call Me By Your Name. And is it crazy that I think this is the most beautiful book I've ever read? Like, it's a little graphic. There's definitely a lot of talk about sex and butts and all kinds of things in this book. And it's made me laugh out loud multiple times already just because of how ridiculous it is. There's a couple parts that I feel like I just have to read to you. The thud my heart gave when I saw him unannounced both terrified and thrilled me. I was afraid when he showed up, afraid when he failed to, afraid when he looked at me, more frightened yet when he didn't. The agony wore me out in the end, and on scalding afternoons, I'd simply give out and fall asleep on the living room sofa, and though still dreaming, know exactly who was in the room, who had tiptoed in and out. Who was standing there? Who was looking at me and for how long? Who was trying to pick out today's paper while making the last rustling sound, only to give up and look for tonight's film listings, whether they woke me or not? I mean, I don't know. I love that. And then there's this other part that just like floored me. She was after him. That much was clear. While all I really wanted was one night with him. Just one night. 1 hour, even. If only to determine whether I wanted him for another night after that. What I didn't realize was that wanting to test desire is nothing more than a ruse to get what we want without admitting that we want it. So good. Like, that is deadly. That is, like, deadly good. I don't even know what to say. Like, that just encapsulates that feeling of, like, wanting somebody and knowing that you shouldn't want them and knowing that, like, this is all bad and gonna go down in flames and like knowing that you want more than you really do but not really allowing yourself to admit it or like feel it. Whew, I mean, this is a good book, guys. I picked this up. I knew it was gonna be like a little summer romance moment, but my God, this is awesome. I'm really enjoying this book. If it keeps going this way, it might be a 5-star read for me. We'll see. I feel like I've never made that face before in my life. Holy shit, this book is crazy! Good morning, fam. I just woke up. I have like 2 pages left in Call Me By Your Name, but I don't want to finish it yet. So I am going for a walk in this neighborhood because I know there's a ton of little libraries around here. And I saw one yesterday that had a book in it that looked interesting. So I'm gonna go grab that if I can. And then I'm gonna start reading it. And then when I get home, I'm gonna finish Call Me By Your Name. Or maybe I'll finish it today, but like I don't have my microphone with me or anything. This is the problem. This has been the problem lately, it's just like I've just been all over the place. I haven't had a lot of time to read between work and being all over the place. So let's go. So this is the one I was looking for from yesterday that I found, and this is the book that I wanted. Cute. I love this little mailbox thing. What do you call it? A little book library. This book seems to be about somebody who's been down on their luck for a long time. I think she's a writer or some kind of artist. She gets like some kind of house sitting or like dog sitting gig at somebody's like mansion. Apparently it gives her enough time to focus on her novel or whatever she's working on, and then she kind of like winds up writing or making some kind of hit piece of artwork. Seems interesting, seems modern. I've been getting a little frustrated at myself lately because I keep collecting more books and I really don't want to be doing that. At least I'm not really buying them anymore, but I'm collecting more of them. And the reason for that is because I don't want to spend time on my phone, even when I'm away from home, whatever. I don't want to use that as like a pastime. So I'm like, oh, well, I'd rather be reading right now. But then I'll like bring a book with me somewhere that I'm almost finished with, or just overall forget to bring a book. Because I'm like, oh, I'm going to hang out with friends, like we're going to be talking, blah, blah, blah. And then something happens and inevitably I have spare time and I'm like, I could be reading. So then I'm like, well, let me go find a book. And then I just keep collecting more books. And that is frustrating, but got to be committed to the game, I guess. Okay, good morning. It's morning for me, which means it's morning for you because I said so. So I finished Call Me By Your Name a couple days ago, and I've kind of just been waiting to talk about it because I've been kind of busy. But oh my God. I mean, all right. So here's the thing. Not everyone's going to like this book. I'm not going to tell you go out and buy this book right now because it's the best book I've ever read, because there's a chance that you might really hate this book. This book is weird. It's obsessive. It's like the younger character is almost predatory to the older character, which is kind of a crazy thing to say, but it's kind of true. It's about a 17-year-old boy and a 24-year-old man falling in love in a villa in Italy over the summer. And it is beautifully written. It's like kind of amazing. To me, it was really funny because it was just so ridiculous how obsessed these guys were with each other. I also thought it was like kind of beautiful in like this weird twisted way. And I don't know, like it didn't really like bother me that much because like this is a fictional story about two gay men who are obsessed with each other. So like I didn't really feel like it was bad or like harmful necessarily. I could see how some people would think that, but I don't know. It didn't bother me. I really liked it. I thought it was kind of funny. I also thought it was really sad. It like was just full of like longing and pining and yearning, and it was definitely raunchy, like in weird ways. Like I don't even feel like they really described the sex scenes very much like they do in ACOTAR, but like what they did do was some crazy kink shit, like just weird shit. Like there was a peach scene, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And there was like a scene where they were like about to take a shower and one of them was on the toilet and he like insisted on like looking at the toilet after he was done because he like wanted to know what was up. Like,
oh my God, bro. Oh hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
I don't know. It was weird. This book is weird. I'm not going to tell you this book isn't weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. If themes of like obsession and like almost stalking, maybe it's stalking, and like crossing boundaries when somebody's not even around. Like, you know, there's a scene in here where the younger boy is so obsessed with the 24-year-old that he like goes into his room and like smells his shorts and like does some things to the shorts. Ew. Like it's gross, man. Like I don't know, but I just thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny. Like I don't know why I think that's funny. But I just think it's just so like it's so ridiculous. Like obviously, yes, if somebody actually did that to somebody else and they didn't want that to happen, it would be like super harmful. But it also seems like, you know, from the very beginning, it seemed like the 24-year-old in the book mentioned like at some point that as soon as they saw each other, he also felt the same way. And was he doing like weird obsessive things? Not really. He was kind of trying to put distance between them because he didn't want to cross any boundaries, because obviously you're 24 and he's 17. So totally makes sense. But yeah, it's definitely graphic. It's weird. It's raunchy. I thought it was hilarious. Like I'm not going to say that I can relate to the 17-year-old because that's wild. I never did anything like that. But I do know what it's like to be young and to be obsessed with somebody. And that that was done very well in this book. That's what I'll say. So I would recommend it on the basis that it's crazy. And if you don't like crazy things, then you're not going to like this book. But if you're cool with crazy shit, you're going to like this book. So that's my awesome little review. You have anything to say?
Eat your vegetables, kids.
I was just out here reading, and this little guy ran into the window. So I've just been making sure he's not passing out. He just got up. Cute little guy. I am about 220 pages into Lush. It's about sommeliers, and there are a lot of long paragraphs about shame and like self-perception and other people's perception, focused on the psychological aspects of the characters' lives and like inner worlds and how it shows up in their day to day. And I'm enjoying it, but I also could see how people would think it's way too long for what it is. Not really any consequences to anything that happens so far. If you're okay with just reading something that is kind of like flowery and character driven with no real plot, I'm almost done with it at this point. I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel about it by the time I get to the end. I think the ending is important in this one because the book is so uneventful. So if the whole thing feels that way, it might be kind of crushing. So I'm going to continue reading it and see how I feel. This camera makes me look so bad, guys. Whatever. I'm trying to finish this book, guys. I have like 30 pages left. And honestly, I really want this book to be over. I was enjoying it, but I got to a part where I thought it was the last chapter because it seemed like it was ending. And it really just keeps going. I think there's like 3 more chapters after the chapter that feels like it's the last one. You think like, okay, well, surely this ties up all the loose ends and like that's all we need to know. And then it just keeps going. And I'm like, stop teasing the ending of this book. I don't know if I'm going to read these next 30 pages and totally change my mind. There's just this scene where this guy gets his finger cut off, and I don't really know why it's necessary to the plot at all. I feel like we could have just totally gone without the cutting off this guy's finger scene. I also have no concept of how long his finger was off. Like, it's kind of vague and there's no real like concrete timeline. And maybe she wrote it that way on purpose because the characters in this book are like always just absolutely shit-faced. And like maybe it's supposed to make you feel like that, like you're like not really sure what's going on. You know, a lot of the characters can't remember things because they black out. I don't know. It's fine. I'm going to read the last 30 pages and maybe I will have a totally different tone when you see me next time. I've finished Lush. I definitely feel like it should have been shorter. I know that this is Rochelle's first novel. I liked it. I feel like it was trying to say or like do a lot of things that it didn't really quite accomplish. Like it touched on how there's like very few female sommeliers and even fewer black women sommeliers. And the main character was a black female sommelier, and she was very beautiful, Instagram model. The romance felt like a little flat. I mean, Avery uses the word love towards the end of the book to her love interest. And I mean, there's no way that they're in love. They hung out for kind of like an indeterminate amount of time. I think it was a week. Basically, like all of these people in this book are messy drunks. And it like is very good at exploring shame. It was beautifully written. It was like interesting enough to read to keep my attention until like the last 100 pages. Could have been way more succinct. And I think that all of the chapters at the end, like the last 4 chapters, really felt like the author had come up with several different endings and wasn't really sure which one she wanted. Like every time I got to the end of a chapter, towards the end, it felt like I was reading the last sentence of the book, and then I would flip the next page and it would still be going. And it was like really frustrating to have that experience 4 times. No, I mean, it was very readable. It was like kind of haunting. Yeah, I mean, I keep trying to come up with things to say about this book, and I really don't have anything crazy to say. I don't have any like super hot takes. I don't really want to tear into this book. I don't really feel like that's necessary. I feel like it was pretty good. I don't know. 3 stars. That's all I have to say. I hope she writes another book, another novel. I thought that this was a good first debut novel, shall I say. If she refines her writing style, it could be really good. I would probably pick up another novel by her just to see how she evolves, because I feel like she has potential to be an author that I really like, but I just think this one was too long. I think that was the biggest problem with this book, is it could have been probably 100 pages shorter if she had really figured out where this was going to go. That's Lush.